It was a difficult film to make. At the start, the greatest problem was how to provide plausible ghosts. Originally, I had planned that for the role of the ghosts, we would have actors running around under white sheets. But then the strangest thing happened. I was fast asleep one night and had a strange dream. In my dream, an otherworldly voice talked to me.
If you film it, they will come.
I had this dream again and again over the next few nights, until finally I took a leap of faith and started filming. After just one day on set, the ghosts appeared and offered to help. It was like divine intervention. That said, it has been really difficult working with two such diverse groups, the alive and the dead. There were times when tensions were really high, and I had to liaison between the two and try to settle things down. No one is making fun of you.
Considering that we were all hanged from the tree in Market Square, calling us high-strung is offensive.
Yes, I can see how that would come across as rude, but I am sure they didn't mean it like that.
Well, perhaps not.
But you need to stop telling people that they will soon be like you. Not that there is anything wrong with dying, not at all. It's just that people don't like to be reminded that they are going to die.
See, there you go. Once again, this whole problem you all have with the dead.
I didn't mean it that way. Oh, gods. This is definitely the last time I work with dead people. I have nothing against the dead. They just seem so high-strung. Honestly, it is enough to put you off dying for life. But they were extremely cheap. All they wanted in return was a priest of Archay. However, their behaviour was bad, really bad. All-night parties, vulgar language, and offensive behaviour towards the rest of the cast.
It was difficult working with the ghosts. They were rude, crude, and lewd.
Hey, darling, why don't you slip out of that sweet body and join us?
Got to the point where I was really uncomfortable and didn't even want to leave my house.
One of the ghosts was harassing Janara. You have to remember that these ghosts lived about 2,000 years ago. Things were different then. They had less respect for women than today. Anyway, I had a word with him, but he didn't seem to understand that what he was doing to Janara was upsetting her.
I couldn't take it anymore. Then Balin suggested I try a bottle of his Ghost Repel.
Take our latest product, Ghost Repel. Made with pure troll feces. Just rub some on your eyelids once a day and you will never be bothered by ghosts again.
So I brought a bottle and applied some to my eyelids, as directed.
Hey, beautiful, how about... Oh! Ugh. Whoa, darling, you smell like a troll's backside.
He never bothered me again after that. Best 50 gold I've ever spent.
The role of Calmus was of course the most important role. Not only would he be playing Calmus, but also narrating the film. We auditioned many potential Calmus, including Alcius, who was later cast in the role of the scribe. But Xavier fit the role best. He was the right noble profile and educated voice.
I am aware that Alcius thinks that he would have made a better Calmus, but the right choice was made. Alcius could not have handled the role. It was far too complex a character and far beyond his acting abilities.
How difficult is it to stick your nose in the air and talk down it? I really don't think they cast the right person as Calmus. I would have made a much better Calmus. Xavier overplays the part.
People love my portrayal of Calmus, and quite right, too. There is even talk of a spin-off series following the adventures of Calmus, where I will star, of course.
As I was writing the script, I was picturing the character of Calmus as a sort of arrogant, pompous, insufferable idiot. When I met Xavier at the auditions, I knew instantly that I had found my idiot. Within just minutes of talking to him, I knew he could fill the role naturally, with no acting ability required on his part whatsoever.
The right choice was made. After all, I starred in The Imperial Soldier, which played for the Emperor himself.
Xavier was insufferable to work with, always boasting about how he starred in that famous play, The Imperial Soldier, and how he played in front of the Emperor himself. Nonsense. I know the truth. Xavier confessed himself one night in the Old Hroldan Inn after too many glasses of wine. Yes, I did say wine.
Oi! I dish... Ibis. More ale for my best friend, Alpheus here. See, Alpheus, I was in the Imperial Soldier, but I wasn't the lead.
No. Were you a supporting actor?
No, I was, a horse.
A horse? The horse that the king rode?
Nope, the second horse. Actually, I was the horse's, backside. You won't tell anyone, will you, best buddy?
No. So did you make the horse's neigh sounds?
Nope, those were not the sounds I had to make from my end of the horse.
Then there was that time Xavier had boiled skeever for lunch.
Ah, yes, the boiled skeever. What a waste of a day that was.
See anything at all?
Nothing so far.
I am beginning to think there is no ghostly activity in this house.
I think you may be right, but let's just give it...
Excuse me. Are you getting all this down? Pardon me.
We had the ghosts to create all the ghostly activity, but there was that one incident that remains unexplained. The flying pot. We had Xavier and Alpheus set up to go for the final scene in Woodhaven. All they had to do was sit there, as though they were keeping a lookout. Then after a few minutes, Xavier turns to Alpheus, and they hold a short conversation. But during this scene, a kitchen pot just took on a life of its own, and started drifting back and forth behind the two, suspended in the air.
I am beginning to think that this town is not haunted at all.
I think you may be right, though perhaps we should give it a little longer.
I had such high hopes given this town's reputation. Ah well, let us wait for a while longer. Perhaps something will happen. I had no idea what was going on behind me. The script calls for a ghost to appear at the window while I am talking to Alpheus, but that is it. It was only later that I found out that some kind of real ghostly activity has been taking place behind me.
I didn't know that all this was going on behind me at the time, but when I found out later, I was sure it had to be the ghosts doing it. I still think that is the case.
No, that was not us, and we have no idea how that happened. We can't make ourselves completely invisible and then make pots look like they're flying on their own. Something is definitely not right in that house, which is why none of us ever go inside it.
It is true that none of the ghosts would enter Woodhaven. The closest we could get them to it was outside the windows. What happened must have been some kind of real ghostly activity. We will never know, I suppose. But in the meantime, it adds a really authentic touch to the film. Somehow, between the problematic ghosts, the big-headed star, organising an entire ghost army, and the weather in the Reach, we managed to pull together something almost sort of bordering on watchable.
It was a step down for a talent like myself, but yes, I would do it again as long as I continue to play the lead.
Would I do it again? No. I haven't watched the finished film, and I doubt that I ever will. I don't mention that I was in this film when I'm auditioning for other films. I've lost too many jobs that way.
Never, ever, ever, ever again. None of the Old Hroldan residents who participated would do it again.
Excuse me.
Cut!